Well, welcome to CFB UK, home of the UK's biggest college football fan page. For the fans, by the fans. And yep, back with another episode. I might be a little bit mad because I'm a Chelsea supporter and I've just watched them heinously lose to Arsenal in the FA Cup final. So I'll try and keep my spirits up a little bit. But we're back. 4 from 4,000, another episode, another interviewee. 4 from 4,000, if you've not been here before, why do we call it 4 from 4,000? Well, the reason is that we are approximately 4,000 miles away from mainland USA. We're bringing you exclusive interviews with NCAA D1 athletes, football players to be specific, from stateside back to the UK. Now, today's guest, as I pull up my little bit of info, bit of intro, we're really fortunate to introduce you to him today. He's 5 hours behind in time. So yes, he is on the East Coast. He was a high school basketball star, a really, really promising high school basketball star. And football was never really on the cards for him. But all of a sudden, this talented guy finds himself on one of the biggest programs through hard work and a few bits and bobs of help along the way. He now finds himself on a program, a top 10 nationwide program in the SEC. So please, we're going to admit him now. He's here. Please give a warm welcome from Florida Gators. Yes, Florida Gators. It's Clifford Taylor IV. Let's admit him in. Let's slow on the mark. Here we go. Introducing live in Gainesville. Here he is, looking fresh. All right, Clifford.
Yeah, what's up? How you doing?
Doing very well. How are you doing? Oh, look at that. Look at that Panthers. Look at that Panthers flag. See, you know what? I know that Panthers flag. I know that Panthers flag.
All right, because they played in London. Yeah.
No. Well, yeah, I know that, but fine. I'll change that. I know that specific Panthers flag on that wall because I've seen that on TikTok.
Oh. Yeah.
We are going to get onto that later, but first of all, how are you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. Just had a little, 1-day vacation with my girlfriend in Jacksonville, so I came back to Gainesville today. So
I saw that because we set this up earlier this week, and you put on Instagram the other day, like on a beach, and I know Gainesville is like not that far from Jacksonville, but it's pretty far, and I was like, Is he on vacation? And is he going to be like calling in from vacation? Because it's not, I mean, we love having you here, but it's not that, you can have a nice vacation, man.
Yeah. It was a good 1-day little stay. So yeah, now I'm back in Gainesville.
Well, you're back. Cool. Well, you can't see, but I am repping.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
In my cupboard, I found it. But so thank you for joining us. We have different hosts at different days. It all depends on, we all work 9-to-5 jobs and our families and stuff. So we do this to help spread college football in the UK. Just to get a little know about some more from the athletes and stuff before you guys turn pro and stuff. We like to know, some stories, anecdotes, and find because everyone in the UK, the NFL is huge, but college football is growing. It's not a lot of it on TV. It's quite hard to find it on the TV. No real channels. Be like one channel, and you've got to pay a lot of money for it. But yeah, this is why we're trying to grow it. So, I've got my first question. You, as we can see from the background, you're born in Charlotte, raised in Charlotte. What was life like growing up in North Carolina?
Yeah, so I was actually born in Raleigh, North Carolina, the capital. So, I was there my first 6 years of my life. So that kind of came and went. And then I moved to Charlotte when I was 7. And it was around that time when like the Bobcats were had just started. Like the Hornets were gone for a couple of years. So then the Bobcats came. So I kind of grew up with them. So I was a diehard Bobcats fan, diehard Panther fan, and a diehard Gator fan because my dad he went to Florida. So it just kind of runs in the blood. So, growing up, the Bobcats, they were young, so we didn't have a whole bunch of good years. We had one good year, but we got swept by the Heat. So we had a little glimmer of hope, but it slowly just went away. But But Charlotte it's really turned into a much bigger sports market now, because now you got the NASCAR Hall of Fame. We have this minor league baseball team now. We have a major league soccer team now that we just announced like a few days ago. So it's definitely grown. So the sad part about it is, though, so when I got to Florida, my family decided to move to Orlando because my dad got a job down there, and he's originally from Florida and wanted to be closer to family. So we moved down there. So I've only been to Charlotte, like, I can probably count on my fingers how many times I've been there since I've been in Florida. So.
Oh, okay. Oh, cool. Well, it's actually interesting because we've done about maybe like 15, 16 of these sort of interview podcasting so far. And we actually interviewed the starting quarterback for Charlotte 49ers, a guy called Chris Reynolds. Really cool. Yeah, he's North Carolina. And it seems like a lot of guys from North Carolina often stay in the state to go to college. But obviously your path is a little bit different to some of the other guys. So, yeah, we'll give up to Nathan next.
Yeah, what else were you interested in growing up? Clearly, you love all your sport. What else were you interested in growing up?
I was definitely a music head, more like an old school music head. Anybody you ask about me, they know that Earth, Wind and Fire, that's my group. Like I'm not just one of the typical, knows September and knows Let's Groove. I know like songs from like beginning to like now. So I grew up like a big Earth, Wind and Fire fan. I was actually a pretty like big Christian boy, like in Raleigh. I love playing the drums. I played the piano since I was 5. I still play it now. So yeah, music was a big thing. I've always been like an artistic kid. So like that's what my major is now, like graphic design and stuff like that. So I've always had like just like an artistic mind.
Oh, you're good at graphic design. Well, that's one thing that we need a bit of help on. Actually, I can't say that. We've got a great graphic. Actually, we've got a great graphic designer now doing like the. You'll see when this episode goes out. I'll send you like the thumbnail. It's going to be a really cool. Like he does a really good job with the thumbnails and stuff. But before that, we really needed a help with a graphic designer. So yeah, we know where to come next time. Eh? So right, okay. So we're going to get into it now. So. I was looking at a website called Next College Student Athlete, NCSA, back in 2017. This was a 2017. It said you were.
Oh yeah.
So how old are you now, Clifford?
21.
21. So it says you were like 6'4" and like 190 pounds.
Skinny.
Yeah. That's like 3 years ago. Okay, so And your sport growing up was basketball, right? So what were when you were like in school, maybe like middle school or even high school, what were your aspirations in terms of playing basketball at like a higher level?
I like everybody else, they had aspirations of, playing professionally. And so in high school, it was like a little different. So like in our area, like dudes my size were usually like point guards, but like our team was so small, so they had me, playing like the 4 and the 5 and stuff like that. So it kind of simmered my chances a little bit. So once I kind of started to accept like colleges probably won't look at me that much, then I was like, okay, then I'll just move on and just try to get a professional job and just do whatever. I mean, I think that, like the only schools that like big schools that like ever gave me like a look or like spoke to me were Clemson and West Virginia. But that was like it was nothing more than like a couple conversations. Didn't get an offer from them. I got a couple D2 offers and D3 offers, but growing up I was like, nah, I'm going to Florida. Like I don't care. Like I'm going to Florida. It's signed, sealed, delivered. So when I got in for school, I pretty much told my parents, I'm like, you're wasting your time trying to get me to go visit these other schools, because it's like there's no way you can convince me like otherwise. I was one of those like athletes like who like they commit and there's how they tweet 1,000% committed. Yeah, I was one of those. So there was no turn. I was going to Florida no matter what.
Well, I think Nathan, your next question, I mean, you can definitely ask it, but I'm pretty sure that you almost answered that question. But you go and ask it either way. Ask it either way.
Yeah, you did touch it on it slightly there. You played a mixture of power forward and center. Is that right? Yeah. Why was it those positions?
You said like how was it?
Why did you play those positions?
Oh, because our team was so small. like our point guard was, I want to say 5'8", 5'9", and I was the tallest guy on the team. So it's like, well, I guess I gotta play center, which which was no problem because I could hit like a little hook shot here, like a little like jab step here, and like a little hook shot there. So it was no problem.
You don't think that, if you had been given the chance to play guard at high school, that you might have had things might have been different at all, or do you just think that?
See, that was partly my problem because I was too nice to everybody back then.
Massive, yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I was too nice, but like I say this humbly, I think if I did play guard or like small forward, I think I would have had a chance. But me and my coaches, we grew like so close. So it was like if I say, hey, I want to play the one, like I didn't want to like ruin the chemistry because that's just who I was. I wasn't really a me first guy growing up. That wasn't my thing. So it was just like, okay, whatever you need me to do, I'm here. I'm gonna do it because like we wanted to win championships, and if that meant me playing the 5 or whatever, then hey, so be it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's like you just kind of be a team player and stuff like that. But yeah, I get that. I'm going to skip my next question, let you go again, Nathan, because my next question was about basketball and recruitment and stuff, and you covered that already. So, Nathan, I'll let you jump onto your question. Yeah.
Yeah, so before going on to your story of ending up on the Florida Gators, what were you doing between finishing high school and ending up in Gainesville?
Like, because I know you enrolled as a student, with not a scholarship student. You walked on. So yeah, that bit.
Man, it's one of those wild things because, like I said, growing up, the only bit of football I played was flag football, and that only goes for so long. So my freshman year, I don't think it's any secret down here. Our team was not good. I think we were 4-7 my freshman year. And then when Coach Dan Mullen came in, he kind of brought us back to, what he calls the Gator standard, which is like, 10-win seasons, 11-win seasons. I think what really sold it for me was the LSU game because I was there like as a fan and it was crazy. And it's weird because one of my good friends had brought it up. He was like, "Can you imagine what it's like to actually like be on the squad?" And then
Oh no.
Oh. We had a bit of a technical issue. Oh, he's back. Hey.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, we got you. So you were saying that your friend was Oh. I think
Got it.
we got you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you there? Sorry. You're saying that your friends were like talking and like saying, imagine what it'd be like to be. That's what I heard you tell.
Yeah, they were saying like imagine it, and I was just kind of like, that'd be dope, but I was like, it'll never happen, from like for us, because like we're just a bunch of like strangely 190-pound like kids, like they're just like here it's like students and fans in the stands. So we all agreed to play flag football in this competitive league at our school, this rec league, and little did I know how small like most of the guys were, because like here I am like the 6'5" human playing against like some 5'9"ers, maybe some 6-footers or whatever, and I was just like torching them. Like I was just like doing like little like hitch routes, like curls. I was doing slants and just like it was easy. So one day I noticed this guy. He had on these slides that like every athlete had on. So I was like, oh, he must be an athlete. So I asked him, I was like, hey, do you play football? And he was like, yeah. And his name was Robert Clay. I'm sure most people around here, they know who Robert Clay is. But yeah, he told me after I played one day, he's like, you ever thought about walking on? And then so it kind of hit me again. I was like, yeah, in my dreams, but I haven't really like thought about it as like actually doing it. And he was like, you should do it. And then I was like, why? I was like, why are you telling me? It's like you just met me. And then he told me, he's like, man, walking on will be the best decision you ever made. And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, it's hard. Like, don't get me wrong, but it's worth it in the end. So I was like, I thought about it for a couple of days, and then one of my best friends, Quaylen Crum, who was on the team already, I asked him, I was like, yo, man, I thought about walking on a little bit, but nothing serious. And I was like, what do you think? And he was all on board. He was like, yeah, you should do it. So thought about it for a couple more days, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna do it. So called my mom. I'm like, hey mom, I think I'm gonna try to walk on for Florida. And she's like, basketball? I was like, no, football. It's like, basketball? I'm like, no, football. And she was like, what? Like, what do you mean? I'm like, yeah, football. Like tackle football. And I could hear the fear in her voice because, my mom's never seen me get tackled, never seen me put on the ground before. So
I was gonna say that. Yeah, I was gonna say.
All of her fears were just exposed on that phone call. And then she was just like, okay. And then she handed it to my dad, and my dad was all on board. He was like, yeah, man, do it. And because, and then the first thing he said, he's like, give me those free tickets. Give it up. I'm like, okay. It really, is that what this is about? And then he told me in all seriousness, he's like, no, if you want to do it, if you want to take it serious, do it. And so at that time, so that's October 2018. So from then to, I want to say January of 2019, I went from 210 to 230 because I was just getting in shape, lifting every single day. Because the football stuff, I could do the footwork and stuff, I could get that together. So I would do hours of footwork stuff and agilities, and then I would work out with my friends. And so my dad. So fast forward to Christmas, my dad got us tickets to the Peach Bowl, and I remember word for word he said, let this be the last game that you sit here as a fan. And I was like, well, I gotta live up to everything I said for real now. So fast forward a couple months, I'm hearing from the compliance offices of Florida and stuff like that, and then I get a text from one of the student athlete developers, and he's like, hey, we're gonna have a walk-on meeting, and doing all this stuff. And so I go in there, and there are literally trophies in every corner of this room. I'm like,
everywhere.
I'm like, man, I thought it was just a swamp was just gated out. I'm like, man, there's trophies here, there's trophies there. It's everywhere you blink, it's it's a trophy. So I was like, yeah, I'm doing the right thing. So I go to the meetings, do all the physicals, the EKGs, and just all the tests that you have to do before you ever try out or play a sport.
Sure.
So fast forward to the tryouts. There's only four of us. Me and my friend who's also on the team now that I was working out with for a while, and two others. And here I am with gloves on, and I got my pad, I'm ready to go. And I look around, I don't see a football. I don't even see cones. I'm just like, what kind of tryout is this? And then I overheard them saying yeah, we don't allow footballs during what they call the dead period. So the dead period is the time during the off season where players are not allowed to use a football or whatever. It's really weird. It's usually from January to I guess the week before the start of spring ball.
Okay.
So we try out. It honestly wasn't even an hour long. It was 40 minutes. So we're doing the agilities, and I'm trying my tail off. I'm running. I was everybody's on their knees, but I was taught growing up to do this, so I was just I was trying not to do it as much because I was like, I can't let them know that I'm tired. So I remember they after the tryout, they were like, hey, we're gonna good job, we're gonna contact you guys and let you know if you made it or not. And then so one of the compliance guys, his name's John Clark, he talked to me afterwards, and he was like, hey, what's your schedule like and stuff like that. So I'm like, yeah, okay, I got class here, I got class there, and whatever. And he just whispered, all right, see you tomorrow. So I was like, oh, did I make it? Because he's like, he'll tell us tomorrow. And he's like, I'm like, all right, we'll see you tomorrow. I was like, oh my God, I think I just made the team. So next day goes by. So I'm in the facility for real, and he's telling me hey, he's like, welcome to the team. But there's only one flaw, your class schedule. So I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, your classes are or like during the time like we practice. And I'm like, oh, so what does that mean as far as me being on the team? He's like, no, you'll be on the team. It's just that you'll start like during like the summer A, summer B, and summer C terms. I was like, oh, okay, so I'll just start in the summer then. Yeah. And honestly, from spring to summer, like there were times where I'm like, there's no way he remembers me, right? Like there's no way he's gonna remember just like a typical walk-on that just walks in and tries out. He's never played a down of football in his life. I'm like, there's no way he remembers me.
Yeah.
And I remember the very first day of summer A, at like 10 o'clock on the head, he's like, I was like, hello, hey, it's John Clark. You ready? I'm like, oh yeah. So I had a whole game. I was gonna work out that morning. And I was like, well, I guess I'm going into the facility. So I go down, and I walk in the training room, and I have to fill out all this information, and I'm seeing like all the stars up on the team, like at the time like Felipe Franks, Freddie Swain. So I'm over here fangirling. I'm like, Freddie Swain, Felipe Franks, Tyreek. Like I was trying like to hold it. I was trying to be cool about the whole thing. So I just kind of walked
like there as well. Van Jefferson.
Oh yeah, Van. He was there too. So I was just kind of walking like, so like trying to be like cool. I was trying to be calm and collected. But so they had me do like these tests that were like 3 hours long, and then once I did that, then they gave me my gear and stuff, and then bump into Coach Savage, the conditioning guy, and he's like, hey big guy, you ready to train? Like I guess he thought I was working out like that day, but he was like, hey big guy, welcome to the team, you ready to train? I was like, yeah, I'm ready. And then they were just like, okay, well you start in this group tomorrow and this group tomorrow. So I was like, okay, it's cool. So I go, and then I was on the squad, and of course everybody was like, who's this new guy? So I'm just trying to like stay in the back, like trying to like know my place. I'm like I'm not a star yet. I'm not a celebrity. I'm just gonna like walk in here and just kind of like mind my business, just like know my role, shut my mouth, and just do what I need to do. So that's how that happened, and I've been here ever since.
And that's just a fantastic story. I absolutely love that. Like, I think it's just it's like the whole, from being in the stands as a fan, just being like in school there, to now where look at that. Look, that jersey that's hanging behind you. What's that jersey?
So this is a jersey that I got during they had like this little garage sale when they were switching from Nike to Jordan.
Yeah.
And I just bought a jersey, and I'm like, this looks pretty real. Like I was just searching for a jersey. I'm like, this looks pretty real. I'm like, let me make sure I keep this somewhere. But
yeah.
But yeah,
like a team garage sale thing.
Yeah, like I guess I didn't know they had those for teams that switched from Nike to Jordan, but
wow.
They let us keep these bad boys from the Orange Bowl.
Oh, look at that! Oh my! I need to full screen that. Oh wow!
So yeah,
that is beautiful, isn't it? That is beautiful.
Let us keep this bad, and it's so funny because like after the game, everybody was like signing the jersey. I'm like, no one is touching this.
Yeah.
No one is touching this until my senior year. Okay, like I'm gonna frame this for my house one day and just like show people like I was part of something.
Wow. Oh yeah, you've got to frame it, dude. You've got to frame it. That's the first thing you need to do when you get in your house, for sure.
Yeah,
that's insane. Right, because to be fair, like I'm sure you've got a copy. I've accidentally sent you a copy of my questions because the next question you answered in that, and which was about how you went from like 190 pounds in 2017 to 240 pounds or something that you are now. You was it just the strength and conditioning and the training and stuff?
Nick, when I tell you Nick Savage is a gem of gems, and that doesn't go lightly. He got me in the shape of my life because I thought what I was doing was great, but then like once I started doing like his program and his conditioning, it was like a whole new world. Like the running wasn't bad because like in basketball, you're used to running, so the running wasn't bad. It was the lifting that really did it to me. Like I'll admit, like first couple of weeks, I was struggling lifting, but like after a while, they'll give you like a system. They'll give you a set to do, and then after that, I mean, you don't even realize how big you're getting until you see on the scale, and it's like 240. I'm like 240. It's like, man, I was just like 190 like a year ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was correct. Oh, and a lot of protein. They that's one thing that they just cry about every day. Like, make sure you nourish your protein, your nutrition. Make sure you get 3 meals a day in, and yeah, like they fed us. Like during training camp, I'll admit I was happily fed during training camp. They were feeding us, like, I'm talking ribs, shrimp, pasta, like all the goodies, all the goodies.
I'm gonna ask this question though, because like, right, I'll admit, right, as much as I love college football, and unlike any other sport, there's no teams that I like despise. Like NFL, I'm a Giants fan, so Eagles, Pats, Cowboys. Ugh. But in college football, I just love college football. But I do have a team that I support, and I am a Nebraska fan.
Nice, yeah.
I am a Husker, I have to admit. But I was following like one of the freshmen that is a freshman player, and he's gone up like 20 pounds or something, and like, they're really happy with his in the first like 3 months on campus. I look at his Snapchat and I swear, like lunch, like cheesy bacon fries and like a burger and a shake, and then like evening, like there'll be like a pizza, and then maybe like at midnight, maybe a little bit of pasta. And I think I had to message him and go, like, how can you eat all this much? And I know you're going up in weight, but like it to be like the weight you want it to be. And he's like, dude, I just work all the time. Like it just burns off like that. So is that true? I mean, is it true that like you can kind of eat a little bit? Like it doesn't have to be like lean stuff, but as long as you work.
Yeah. So so nutrition in Florida, they have the 3 options. They have a lean meal plan, and then they have maintain your weight, and then they have gain. I would always eat the gain because personally, it looked the best. I'm talking like Zaxby's, Chick-fil-A, Outback Steakhouse, Chinese food. I'm like, oh yeah, this is easy. Let me just get this. And so, lo and behold, one day I'm like 240. I'm like, man, I got a little bit. I'll admit. So like going into camp, I had a belly. Like going in, I had no fat on me. But then going into camp, it's like I'm running and pass. I'm like, man, this is hard.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same. Just going out for a run after lockdown, like not leaving the house for like 2 months and just eating like crisps and chips and like stuff like that, and then going for a run and be like, oh, I can't move. Well, that's a little bit different. Nathan, I'll take this one, and then we'll go back to the medium order because I've kind of messed it up. But so this is one I want to know. So as you said, you hadn't really played much football at all in the last few years before you started playing a bit of flag football and became a damn Florida Gator. It's insane. But you are listed as a tight end. Is that correct?
Yeah.
How did they look at you and go, right, let's make him a tight end? That's the position that he should be.
Well, it was actually one of those things where they asked us what position we wanted to play. And all my friends growing up, they said, like, you would be a great tight end or a great defensive end. And so I remember they told me, they're like, okay, you're gonna be a tight end. You're gonna be, here's a tight end meeting room, and they just kind of brought me into it. And so our coach at the time was Coach Larry Scott. He's the head coach at Howard now. But man, I remember that first time I walked in that meeting room, I was so scared. Like I didn't know what to expect. At the time, let's see, it was Kyle Pitts, Lucas Kroll, Kamari Gamble. Keon was not there yet, but it was like all the big guys, like all the vets. And here I am, just like 200 pounds, like sitting in the back, just trying to figure out like what's going on. And like Coach Scott was drawing up like all these plays and like all these formations and all these fronts, and I'm like, what the hell am I looking at right now? Like I'm just like looking like, what? And I was a lost soul, man. Like those first couple months, it was horrible. I mean, it was just absolutely horrible. Like the plays were just out of, like, out of my league. Like I had no idea what was going on, and like physically wise, like during like drills and stuff, like I could like get that down, but it was like the plays, like where to line up and stuff like that. It was like, oh man, this is. So like there were times where I'm like, man, I don't think I can do this. And I will say this, there's one day I remember in particular, I'll never forget it. So one day we're doing drills or whatever, skills and drills, and literally after we were done, Lucas Kroll, he came up to me, you know, big guy, you know, like 6'6", 260. His nickname is Thor, because you know if you look at Lucas, he looks like Thor. And I remember he just came up to me and he was like, look, man, he's like, if you're gonna get respect in this locker room, he's like, A, stop talking trash about us. I'm like, wait a minute. Wait, what? like talking what? I'm like, what do you mean? I was like, all I did was make a couple tweets saying happy to be on the squad. Like I didn't do anything like to, you know, call y'all out. And then he's like, make sure you know your stuff, stop talking trash about us, and stay on social media. Now at the time, I had a reasonably sized following on Instagram. It was bigger than the other tight end. So I guess I don't know if that was like a sense of like jealousy or something like that. But and the weird thing about it is like I was cool with Lucas like before I was on the team. Like anytime I saw him, you know, like at a bar or something like that, like we were cool, we were tight. Yeah. And then once I joined the squad, it was kind of like like a switch flipped. I was like, I don't know. And see, me being the teddy bear I am, I'm like, well, I don't know if I don't think I did anything, but if I did, I'm sorry or something like that. What do you want me to say? Yeah. And so, and you know, it's crazy, believe it or not, like my social media, that kind of became like my title in terms of the team. Like that's what I was known as, the social media guy. And so like now it's like every time I walk into a workout now, it's like, what up, TikTok? What up, TikTok? What up, TikTok? I'm like, oh my God, all right. It got to a point where it's just like, okay, can you just call me Clifford, please? Like just.
Oh, that's so funny. Sorry, I know that's not funny because like I know that's not what you want, but it's a little bit funny. Like it's a little bit like what up, TikTok? Oh man, that's good though. That's good, but yeah, that's crazy. That's really interesting to hear. Yeah, Nathan, go on then.
Yeah, do you ever pinch yourself sometimes? Think I'm a Florida Gator, like Emmitt Smith, Pouncey's, Tim Tebow.
Yeah, it really hit me the day. It actually really hit me on media day last year when they pulled out that 45 and they had my name on the back. I was like, oh my God, this is happening. And then like, you know, I'm over here like trying to like, you know, trying not to daydream, but I'm daydreaming. I'm just like, oh my God, like I'm kind of like looking at my hands like. And then like the guy's like, come on, Cliff. Yeah, it's like, come on, Cliff, we're ready for you. I'm like, oh, okay. Guess I got to my pictures. And man, I've never smiled so hard for pictures in my life. I was like, and you gotta do the typical like, yeah. And then you do this with it. So that was a fun day, and like and at that time like I was getting along with some of the guys, so it was just like, man, like I'm really like. I'm part of the squad now. Like this is crazy. Yeah. And then what really got me what really sold it for me when I was like, okay, I'm really on the squad was one day during camp. I think it was like day 4 or 5 or something like that. And so we had this play where the tight end he goes back and blocks the backside defensive end. And on the other side was a dude named John Grenard. So I'm looking, I'm like, oh snap, I guess I gotta block Grenard. And you know, here I am, I'm like excited to get in the game. So like, you know, I'm ready, like I'm trying to look like as serious as possible. I go back, I'm ready to block John, and he just blew it, just almost killed me. I was like, oh. And then you know, I'm looking at Coach Scott for help, like, hey, he hit me.
He hit me. Is that Grenard you're talking about?
It was just an instant thump, and it was just like, oh my God. But yeah, that was
Jonathan Grenada's a beast. Like,
yeah, rest assured, I was in that ice bath for like 20 minutes that day. I was like, oh man, that didn't feel good.
oh,
Yeah, so that's when it hit.
That's when that's when it literally hit.
Yeah.
So how have your? I mean, this sounds like a pretty basic question, but it means something. So how have your skills as a football player, and all round sort of skills around being a football player, developed since being on the program? And what are the particular aspects that you think you've really improved on since the moment that you walked on?
I think mainly just IQ, like knowing like, okay, like if the cornerback does this, or if the safety like brings a blitz, like what do you do? Because like last year I was comfortable with just like knowing the assignment and like just doing that assignment without like knowing like, okay, what if they change the play or run an audible? Like what do I do? Like anytime Felipe or Kyle would like, call like an audible, I'd be like, oh wait, like what do I do? But I think it was just me like studying a whole lot more, and I guess taking it like a lot more serious. Not saying that I didn't before, but I think just like sitting down and like actually like looking at film and like looking at plays and like just getting a better grasp of like what's going on. Because I will say this though too, and I thank him till this day. We had this walk-on tight end who was a year older than me, named Dennis Gross, who was in the same boat as me. Walked on, had no idea what was going on the first day, and then he instantly like picked it up because like he started studying and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So he would always like give me advice. He would always like help me out with like how I line up, how I work on my release if I'm lined up as a receiver and things like that. And
mm-hmm.
and now even today, like he's one of my best friends. Like I talk to him like every other day, like telling him like what's going on with the program and like what's going on like just like in our daily lives. So he was like a real big brother to me. So like if it wasn't for Dennis Gross, like ain't no telling where I'd be right now. I'd probably pretty much be as complacent as last year, really.